Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 9 of Courtside with Shivam and Mailee. I'm your host, Shivam Patel, coming to you live from San Antonio, Texas. And my co host, Mailee Jones, also coming to you live from San Antonio, Texas. And Mailee, it is championship season. The ladies' championship was last night. Man, what an incredible game. And the men's championship is going to be right after our show ends at 8:15 Central Time. This is a pregame show, Mailee. We cannot wait. But I hope everybody had a great Easter weekend and enjoyed their time. And Mailee, welcome. How was your weekend?
Oh, my weekend was full of basketball, not NCAA basketball. I went to a tournament in Houston to help my dad and his top level team compete in the Gasso. So not much I did of basketball. And then on Easter, I just stayed in the gym. I'm sorry, today I'm dressed like Kamala Harris, which is not a bad thing now. Okay. But after the show, I have to go get to a workout. I have to be as I can, but I just thought I'd change it up a little bit. I usually have on some girly clothes, but thought I'd change it up. But Shivam, how was your Easter weekend?
It was good. We're just at home, hanging out with the family, watching a lot of basketball, and it was a pretty relaxing day. The weather was nice, so I can't complain, Mailee.
Of course.
So thank you everybody so much for tuning in to this episode. And remember, audience members, if you want to put in your chat in the comment section below, ask us any questions. What's your reaction to the women's game last night? Your preview and predictions for the men's game, we definitely want to hear. And remember, you can watch every episode on the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel, and be sure to subscribe. And we have such an exciting show planned for you today. We're going to be talking about the women's championship, going into the men's also. And then we're going to be talking our player of the year. Somebody was right in the player of the year. I'm not going to say who, Mailee, but we'll get to that later in the show. And lastly, we'll have our inspiring stories of women in sports. So are you ready, Mailee?
I think I am. I'm kind of preparing for what you're going to say further on, but I think I'm ready.
All right, so let's get started. Let's talk about the women's championship, Mailee. Last night, man, what an amazing matchup, between Arizona and Stanford. And Stanford, excuse me, pulled it out late and ended up getting the victory, becoming national champions, Mailee. But before we break down the game, let's talk about the road that Stanford, the champions, took to get there. They ended up beating South Carolina in the Final Four, Mailee. And it was a pretty good matchup. But what do you think of overall Stanford's run, to the championship?
Honestly, I think that Stanford didn't beat South Carolina. I just think let me say this. I don't think Stanford won. I think South Carolina lost.
Yeah.
Because like Don Stanley said, they had two really good opportunities to score.
Mhm.
And for one, and these aren't rookie mistakes, these aren't vet mistakes. These are just human mistakes for Stanford to make a turnover. And then it's South Carolina to make a turnover. I'm sorry. And then Stanford makes a turnover right back. And then they have ample opportunity to go score. That's just really tough. And I hate to see that for South Carolina, especially Coach Don Stanley. She's a great coach, phenomenal coach at that. But it happens, and you got to move on. You got to, yes, those girls that took the last shots, definitely really gutsy. But if you don't hit it, yes, it's something you have to live with. But at the end of the day, they got two good looks, and it just didn't hit. So, but Stanford, I think against South Carolina, they got really, really lucky. But it's really good to see them move forward.
It was, and it was a lot of back and forth, Mailee. The last minute was just wild. South Carolina scored with about 30 seconds left to take the lead, 1 point lead, and then Haley Jones got the rebound off a miss, made a clutch mid-range shot, and then that ended up sealing the deal for Stanford. And I want to give a shout out, to the entire Stanford team, their resilience this entire year. Coach Van Derveer, who's now, won 3 national championships. She talked about the long road because, of course, Stanford's in California and they had a lot of restrictions. They couldn't even play at home. They were at a hotel for like 2 to 3 months, Mailee, but they were kind of talking about how that brought the girls together because they got to have great camaraderie, with each other 24/7. And that brought them closer as a team. And I think it showed, in the tight moments that they were together. They didn't flinch. They won a lot of tight games in the tournament. And I think that togetherness really showed for Stanford.
Oh, and whenever your team is put into a difficult situation and you have to move outside of your comfort zone, then you start to rely on your teammates and your coaching staff to be there for you because, of course, Kiana Williams, shout out to her for being a San Antonio and winning a national championship. Amazing. But she's far away from, doesn't have family, right? Her immediate family, I should say, from San Antonio, right there in California. So I definitely know that feeling. You're far away from home. You got to rely on your teammates, your coaching staff to really give you that comfort. And that, I feel like that's how they were able to, overcome the situation. Yes, it can really overcome that and went home with the ring.
That's the ultimate prize, Mailee. They said they asked, the players and the coach, was all that's, ups and downs during the season, was it worth it? They're like, oh, of course it was worth it. We got a championship, Mailee.
Of course, yeah.
It's the ultimate. And Kiana Williams, what a moment for her. She's from San Antonio. Mailee knows her, not on a personal level, but just, she trained with her, I think, a couple
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she trained with you a couple of times, Mailee, in high school. She came down to the gym. But yeah, what a great moment. She's such a talented player. As a senior, what better way to cap off your career, Mailee?
Right, yeah.
Or she might come back next year because they might have the extra year. But if it's not, if she's hanging it up, what a great way, going out on top.
Going back. Yeah.
Yeah, so
just want to tell you something. Kiana and I never worked out.
I'm sure you did play against her, and that was, you could just tell the quality player she is. She's a great person off the court, of course. Her academics, that just tells it all. Being at Stanford, and she won in her home city of San Antonio, Texas. So shout out to all the great ballers that have played in, from San Antonio that are currently with Stanford, Mailee. But let's also talk about the other semifinal matchup in the Final Four before we get to the championship game. So the other matchup was Arizona and UConn, and I was shocked, Mailee. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you when I saw the score. Not taking anything away from Arizona. They're a very talented team, very deserving of being in the Final Four. But come on, it's UConn, Mailee. They live for this moment. Coach Auriemma, Paige Beckers, the whole squad. But they did a great job of holding Paige Beckers into check. Okay, when I say holding into check, 18 points only. But that's a slow game for Paige Beckers. For anybody else, that would be a great game. But for Paige Beckers, that's an average game. That just shows you the quality of player that she is, Mailee. And Arizona was just shooting the lights out. They played really solid defense on UConn. UConn shot one of their lowest percentages, only like 38%, Mailee. It was the Arizona's defense that really won them this game.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm laughing at David Fong's comment. But yeah, one thing I did notice is Paige Beckers, like we've said from the jump. I mean, she's a phenomenal player, phenomenal passer.
Yeah.
I think she has a little bit more leadership to learn as a point guard and coming from a point guard. But I mean, as a freshman, she did a phenomenal job. I definitely, maybe there's some girls coming from our younger generation. Maybe we could see better. But I think as of right now, as a freshman, she kind of set the standard high. But one thing I did see is when you put pressure defense on her, how does she handle that? That's definitely something she can look forward to in kind of perfecting her game her sophomore and junior year. I'm predicting after her junior year, she's going to declare for the draft. Mm-hmm. That's just me. Hopefully that rule can change in the next year.
Honestly.
But I hope. But yeah, so I think that's something she can definitely take this off season to really focus on that. As when she's pressured, you could tell Ari McDonald. I mean, she just the clamps on her. Two-time Defensive Player of the Year in her conference. That is unheard of as a guard, as a short guard, at
Yeah.
that. So, usually all the post players get it. But anyway, David Pham, hey guys.
Oh, yeah.
Just
No, no,
recap of
no.
Texas NCAA run.
So, David, we're going to be talking about the women's NCAA run because they had an incredible run, making it to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, you don't even want to know about the men's, David.
No, let's just. I want to bury that.
We'll focus on Kyra. And we won't get to the men's because if we get to the men's, that's a whole different story. It's a whole different episode, possibly a season.
We can do a whole episode on that.
Right. But just saying, Paige Becker, she could definitely work on those things in the off season. But had a good run. I know Gino was not happy after the game. If anybody caught how he just roasted his team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he called his team immature, and not as far as playing, but as far as what they do off the court. So, yeah, he was definitely not happy. But it definitely makes sense for our young generation that is watching, or even my generation, a little bit older. I don't think they do this. When you want to take selfies and TikTok all the time, that's really great. But at the end of the day, if you cannot come on the court and perform, maybe TikTok and selfies got to be put to the side, or maybe you need to quit basketball. So that's something you could definitely see along with the season going on. And so definitely wish UConn the best. Paige Beckers, congratulations to AP Player of the Year and Freshman of the Year. That's definitely a great award for her and for UConn.
Exactly. We're going to be talking about later in the show. So Paige Beckers won the Player of the Year, and Miley's favorite player, Luka Garza, also won the Player of the Year. But we're going to be talking about that a little later. But Liana is asking a great question, Miley. How many schools will be upping their defense after Arizona's run? Yeah, I think a lot of schools now, because Arizona, as great as they are on offense, they hang their hat on the defensive end on the floor. And I love it, Miley. Their best player, Ari McDonald, is their best defender. And that really shows that commitment, that focus, and is setting the tone for the rest of their team. They really do a great job of just getting in your grill, not making it easy on the offense, forcing a lot of turnovers, forcing a lot of deflections, bad passes, cleaning up the defensive rebounds. Miley, I love their ball pressure, their denial. They're just a great defensive team.
Yes, they are. And one thing I think people have to understand, Ari McDonald, she is in great shape because not only is she the point guard, but she plays pressure defense. She guards the best player. Then she has to get her points. And not to mention, if nobody noticed, the offense is ran through her. So if the offense is ran through her, then, what do you do? So she's definitely in really good shape. I think if anybody needs to know what in shape looks like, it's Ari McDonald, because she's got to do a lot of things. And people who are not a point guard, Sweetheart, Hun, Kitten, it's a difficult job. Okay. Yes, point guards get the most praise, but they also get the most criticism. Yeah. So it's definitely not really a fun balance, but that's just what it is. That's just what the sport is. That's just what the business is. But I would really like to see where Ari McDonald's going to go next. Maybe WNBA, maybe overseas.
I think so. She might have solidified herself as a first-round pick, maybe a late first-round pick, Miley, a team that needs a point guard.
Me.
What'd you say?
That's just me.
And Liana is saying Ari tore up my Hoosiers. Yeah, Ari tore up a lot of people, this tournament.
Yeah, sorry, Liana. Sorry that happened. And you're a Hoosiers fan. Yeah, that's...
Yeah. David, great question. How about your boy Juzang? Not my boy, it's Miley's boy. He may have established himself as a first-round pick, maybe even a lottery pick. He was unbelievable. But we're going to be getting to that a little bit later. And his brother, Christian Juzang, flew into Vietnam specifically to go see him. There was a cool moment of, of course, the players were in a bubble, but he was outside the hotel window, and he was just amazed to see his brother after a year because, of course, his brother plays professionally in Vietnam, as Miley knows very well. So they're a great story, the Juzangs, but we're going to be getting to them in the men's side, Miley. We're talking about the women's now. But let's get to the national championship game, Miley. So the Stanford-Arizona matchup. It was going back and forth, Mailee. What a game it was. Ari McDonald had a strong game, but I don't think she got enough help around her, Mailee, because Stanford was doing a great job of forcing Ari to do everything on the offensive end on the floor and then attacking her on the defensive end. And I thought she got a little bit tired there, and her teammates didn't step up like they should have.
Well, I mean, and so much, I don't really completely blame her teammates because the entire season, the whole offensive scheme was ran through Ari McDonald. So when the whole offensive scheme is run through you, at no point in time really in the season can you just in a snap, okay, here, let me try and get 10 assists, or let me try and get 25 assists this game. And, her teammates are not really in that rhythm for catch and shoot or catch and be in the right spot because most of the time they're looking at Ari doing her thing, which is a real, fun show to watch. But like I said, you have to be in the tip-top shape as much as you can.
Yeah, but I was still a little bit disappointed. Like, of course the defense was collapsing the paint. They play like a pack line defense a little bit, just packing the paint and not letting Ari get there, But her teammates, they were ready on the catch and shoots, but come on, you're Division I players, Mailee. You have to make those wide open shots.
You'd be surprised. People these days just be signing people for no reason. You'd be so surprised.
Yeah, but
that's a different story.
And Liana, exactly. Arizona really flustered Stanford, but too many nerves at the end of the game. They had chances. Stanford was missing some shots and opening the door, but they couldn't really, get over the hump, Mailee. They had multiple chances to cut into the lead, but they couldn't. Some missed free throws at the end, some missed opportunities that I would like to see, Arizona have capitalized on. But the main difference to me in this game, Mailee, was it was a balanced scoring effort for Stanford.
Right.
Kiana Williams was doing her thing, of course, a steady, awesome player that she is. Lexi Hull, their designated shooter, was making a lot of shots. Haley Jones was playing, of course, well. She's the tournament MVP. Brink, also their tall center, also played well. I think, Stanford did a great job of using their size to get offensive rebounds. And really, when Arizona tried to get the ball in the paint, Mailee, really affecting their shots and making it tough for Arizona to score amongst the trees.
True. And, Stanford has always ran their offense through Kiana, their point guard, Haley Jones.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting her tall name, or the tall girl, Steph Curry's god sister.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm not big in remembering names in college. I'm more focused on international basketball. But they always ran their offense, so they had a good rhythm going into the national championship. Not only that, but really into March Madness, where Ari McDonald, at a plot twist of a moment, she, defense is collapsing and she's got to figure out, okay, I got to result to something else. And when you try and get to your teammates standing around watching most of the time, it's going to be very difficult to score. But, it happens. Definitely congratulations to Stanford.
Oh, yeah.
Williams, she was able to bring home everything at home with her family watching, friends, and she is a hometown hero.
Oh, she's a hometown hero for sure. She's putting San Antonio on the map. Her and Kyra, who we're going to be giving a shout out to Kyra just in a few minutes, but we're just closing up this championship game, Mailee. And I'm sorry, I have to get to the last possession. So, of course, Stanford was up by 1 point, and then the last possession, Arizona called a timeout. They had a chance, Mailee, to go ahead and win the game. They gave it to Ari McDonald, who took it to the top of the key. I thought she dribbled too much, Mailee. She was just dribbling when she could have just got to her spot. So she had a couple of open teammates. And she took too much of a contested shot, Mailee, when you could have at least called a timeout, drew up a better play, and got a better shot, Mailee. I was disappointed in that last shot. But you're the point guard, Mailee. Tell me what you were seeing in the.
I would have done exactly what Ari McDonald would have done. First of all, I would say I would have done a little bit more sharper moves to be open, because I did see on a freeze frame she had 3 people on her at one point. Exactly. But I'm going to say what Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan always said. You're either going to be the hero or you're going to be the zero, okay? And then the freeze frame where I saw that Ari McDonald had 3 players on her teammates were just right outside the 3-point line, Mm-hmm. And as a point guard, you have to know your personnel. So if you know that you have a big at the 3-point line and she's not cutting to the basket, your percentage is going to be higher with 3 people on you if you go ahead and shoot it. So you got to be the hero or the zero, and especially she wants to go to the WNBA and get paid to play. You have to be that gutsy. If you're not gutsy, then it's really not going to work for you. And I know once we get to the men's side, the freshman Suggs, you got to be the hero or the zero. And guess what he chose? The hero. And McDonald, she chose hero, but ended up being zero. She would have passed it. And I think even when she would have passed it, the girl trying to get a legit shot off, she would have just had to throw it up there. So the shot's not going to be as consistent or a high percentage shot. But I think Mary McDonald's moves could have been a little bit sharper, where her legs taken from her from playing defense, being the point guard and everything else. Maybe that played a factor for it not going in. But, it happens. I think she was really gutsy. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, she was gutsy, Mailee, but also, you're saying the hero. There was a player open in the side of the key. Maybe it would have been a tough pass because there's a lot of other players there. Maybe it would have got intercepted, but at least maybe she could have at least tried to drive, force the defense to collapse, and made that pass. Because with Suggs, it was a little different because
or the zero.
Mailee, she had 8 seconds. Suggs literally.
The zero.
I think it was a little different. I respect you you're a great point guard, Mailee, but I saw it a little bit differently as a basketball analyst. Suggs had 3 seconds, basically full court. He had no choice but to chunk it up. Ari McDonald had 8 seconds at the half court.
That was a legit shot now.
Yeah, no, it was a legit shot. But she had options, Mailee, and it was in the half court where she could have used her ball handling moves, either created a better shot or got others to get a shot. But you know what?
I support you in that shot you took. You said I'm either going to be the hero or the zero. That makes a difference in players, especially if they want to make a name for themselves. I'm sorry, especially as a female hooper. That's really you got to make a name for yourself, But like I said, I think her moves could have been a little bit more sharper because she could have got to the basket. But
we agreed there.
It is what it is. You have to live with the make, but we'll see.
Yeah, she's a senior. She has a big decision to make, Mailee. Come back and further, improve her stock, or is she going to go now when her stock is already pretty high, which she could sneak at the end of the first round, Mailee. Decisions. What are you going to do? But what a great run by Ari McDonald.
Yeah, Gossip. She is just, oh my gosh.
Exactly what Mailee said. They weren't expecting to shoot their spectators. Exactly. But Eric asked an interesting question: who is the GOAT, Michael Jordan or LeBron? Okay,
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Exactly, Michael Jordan, hands down.
Everybody says LBJ. Oh, I miss you too, Leanna. I'm sorry.
Mailee has a little fan club over here.
But Eric, definitely Michael Jordan. But let me know when LeBron James gets back to playing. But as we know, Michael Jordan didn't take off, and definitely in his era is a little bit more physical. But that's just me,
Exactly. Michael Jordan, 6-0 in the finals. You saw in the Last Dance, Mailee, what he did, the clutchness that he has, his killer instinct, his just wanting to win, doing whatever it takes. Mailee putting it all out there. His love for basketball. He just has the all-around package. So I think it definitely is Michael Jordan. Who's yours, Eric? I'm curious to say, who's your GOAT? Michael Jordan or LeBron? Be sure to put it in the chat section, Eric. And everybody else.
Michael Jordan now. Stop playing.
Yeah, put everybody else, put what you think about the championship game, in the chat section below. Who is your pick tonight? Is it going to be Gonzaga or Baylor? You're going to hear me and Mailee's predictions in just about 5 minutes or so, but we want to hear from you, ladies and gentlemen. And remember to subscribe to the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel, where you can watch every episode of Courtside with Shivam and Mailee, the premier college basketball show on YouTube.
And much more.
And much more. Exactly. Much more. We go international, college, Olympics, Mailee, a little bit of NBA. We talk about everything. We're global, Mailee. What can we say?
We're international.
We're international. Exactly. But Mailee, anything else you got to say about the women's championship before we move on?
I just want to say congratulations, Kiana Williams, San Antonio product. Definitely Thank you for bringing it home. Congratulations to you and your family. Congratulations to the Stanford family, alumni, wherever you are in this world. Stanford women's basketball brought it home for you guys.
It is for sure. And congratulations, Kiana Williams, again. And David, thank you for that transition. So let's also give a shout out to Kyra Lambert, who's a friend of the show. She came on, a few episodes ago, gave great perspective. Mailee even threw the hook 'em, ladies and gentlemen. That tells you.
I did. Only for Kyra. I only do it for Kyra.
And that showed in the video against Maryland, who UT was a heavy underdog against in the Sweet 16. Maryland only lost 2 games the whole year, Mailee, before that game, projected to go to the Final Four. Kyra Lambert got the game-winning steal and game-winning bucket to seal the deal for UT. Hook 'em made me so proud, Mailee, making the Elite Eight. Of course, they ran into a buzzsaw in South Carolina, but they're already ahead of schedule. A first-year head coach, Mailee, that even throws more shade at Shaka. Vic Schaefer, his first year at UT, has won 3 tournament games. Shaka, in his 6 years at UT, won donut 0 tournament games. But we're not talking about Shaka. Congratulations.
About Greg Brown, how Shaka treated Greg Brown. I thought he did a fantastic job. And it showed he did a fantastic job because he got the job at Marquette. I mean, come on now. Someone's just a little.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this episode we're not going to be talking about Greg Brown. Thank God for me. But again, congratulations to Kyra Lambert, Mailee.
Yes. Congratulations, Kyra. Definitely, we'll see you soon in San Antonio. I'm really excited about your adventures after college. Definitely going to keep following you, but congratulations on your run at the March Madness.
And I was watching all the games as a UT. As soon as the men's got out, I was like holding hope that the women were going to go far, as a 6 seed, Mailee. And Kyra, the steady point guard that she is, really, she's always under control, never sped up. She knows that fine line of when to score and to get hers and when to get her teammates involved. She's a great leader. You can just see her clapping, encouraging her teammates. She's just a great all-around player, even better person, Mailee. We had such a great interview with her. We got to know more about Kyra and her journey, of course, starting out at Duke University, fighting through that adversity of major injuries, Mailee, an ACL and an MCL, and now finishing off her college career in style, making it to the Elite Eight. And it was just an amazing run. And Kyra is, born and bred in San Antonio, Mailee. What can we say about San Antonio producing high quality ball players?
No, I did see something on, I think it was Instagram. So let me just give a little backstory. Kyra went to Clemens and then went to Steele, or backwards. I forgot what it was. But either way, those 2 schools are not in San Antonio technically. It's in Cibolo.
Okay.
And then like Kiana Williams, she went to Wagner. That's in Converse, Texas. So I saw something on social media. I don't know which platform, but I saw something on social media. They were very distinct to say they are from Converse, Texas. They are a product of Converse. They're not a product of San Antonio. They're a product of Cibolo. They're not a product of San Antonio. So if people get butthurt about it, I'm really sorry. But I do want to make that clear that I saw that, and apparently maybe that will rub somebody the wrong way. Yes, so Kyra went to, I think it was Steele High School. I'm like pretty sure.
Clemens, and then she graduated, I think, from
Steele. Okay, which is in Cibolo, which is really far from San Antonio. People say, "Oh, it's San Antonio." Like,
it's close enough.
Well, and Kiana Williams went to Wagner High School. That is in Converse, Texas. So, which is far from San Antonio. But just want people to, make sure we're not trying to take away from where your school was or where your home was or where your family is. It's just near San Antonio, but Converse and Cibolo, Texas. Let me make that clear, okay? Just in case somebody their feelings get hurt or they, start crying.
Yes, what you're saying is right, but come on, close enough. They're from San Antonio.
apparently the person that posted it got really offended by that, and I was like, oh my god.
Okay, I respect that. Again, putting San Antonio and surrounding areas, they're both suburbs of San Antonio, But again, no matter where they're from, Miley, they're both incredible ball players and,
Right.
putting themselves and their city on the map, wherever they want to call their city, Miley.
Yes.
But again, shout out to Keanu Williams and Kyra Lambert on both incredible tournaments, Miley.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to the men's section. So tonight we have our national championship game, Gonzaga against Baylor, Miley. Again, before we get to that, previewing that championship, let's talk about the Final Four. So Baylor completely annihilated Houston. Not much to talk about here. It was just a good old-fashioned Texas blowout, and it was just Baylor just took it to them, Miley, and they showed their depth, they showed their versatility, they showed their defensive prowess, and Houston basically had no answer for them, Miley. And Baylor did a great job of really taking control of this game early.
Yes, they did. And another, I would say, not really San Antonio product, but Converse, Texas product. He plays at Baylor, but is deciding to retire after this season. He is a senior in in college. 6'10", Christian Clark. He's had some ongoing knee injuries at Baylor in college, and that's really sad. He was a really talented player, but he announced that it's time to retire. Mm-hmm. So you definitely have to do what's best for your health. You have to do what's best, to make you happy in life. And so he said he's going to focus on sports psychology to finish out his degree and then finish out what he wants to do after graduating. So Baylor, Tristan Clark is there to support you. Tristan Clark being a San Antonio product, Converse, Texas. Let me put it that way. And those you don't know, he actually went to Finlay Prep, which is no longer there anymore. But Finlay Prep was a very prestigious prep school, basketball prep school, I should say. So he got his senior year there. But definitely, I don't know if his family's still in Converse, Texas, but he's from Converse, Texas. Texas, but really well. I don't know who's going to win tonight. I really don't, because Gonzaga. Hey, Kara. Gonzaga has a very serious track record of choking in March.
Whoa, Miley. Miley. We're not hold your prediction just for a couple more minutes.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
But Tristan Clark, again, just wanting to wrap up, I saw him when I was at UT, I was front row in the student section, I saw him. He was such a talented player, great leaper, can finish around the basket, great shot blocker. He was going to be a major contributor for Baylor. But again, Baylor, they have all around great depth. Miley, and they took care of Houston. But the game we got to talk about before we get into the championship game, UCLA and Gonzaga. It was in dramatic fashion, Miley. Jalen Suggs, freshman, going to be a lottery pick, top 5 pick, in the NBA draft.
Not top 5, but
no, it's guaranteed that he is going to be. He made the game-winning shot, Miley, and it was a back-and-forth game and one of the best college games that I've seen, Miley.
Yes. I actually was working, so I wasn't able to see the whole game, but I definitely did see the highlights. So David Pham, if we could, I don't know if we could pull up his comment, but what do I think about the Johnny or the Juzang gang or whatever they said? I would pay more attention if you played for the Vietnam national team. But as I'm hearing from rumors, I'm not going to say who I heard it from or where I heard it from. He has no interest to play for the national team. Isn't that a bummer?
It is a bummer. But
yeah, it's a bummer. I think I've had a little bit more support if he was definitely trying to do that. Maybe the rumors have changed. Maybe they have. Maybe people think I'm just too condescending. I don't care. But as of what I know right now, he's not focused on the national team. So that's just what it is. And I believe at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for yourself. Definitely what's best for your health, what could be best for your future. So if he chooses not national team because he feels that can't get him to where he wants to be, I can definitely totally respect that. But as I've heard, national team is not where it is for him, and so it's respectable. But I think I would, I don't know, if he was with the national team, I'd have a little bit more excitement, but I just don't. I don't know about top 10 or top 25 pick for. I definitely think it's possible. Now, I don't know how the rules would go because from what I hear, he doesn't have his passport for Vietnam. So I don't know if I think his market could be a little bit higher if he would declare as a Vietnamese player. But I don't know, Shivam. That's just what I have to say about David. I wanted to bring that comment back up so we don't leave it. But because I know David definitely follows the Vietnam national team and Vietnam basketball, and everybody's like, "Oh, Johnny Juzang," and I was like, "Come on now, Christian helped him out with that." Christian Juzang, which is his brother, decided to come to in Vietnam and play for the VBA. So I think Christian Juzang kind of led the path for Johnny Juzang because I don't know anything about Johnny Juzang until I saw Christian Juzang at VBA.
Yeah, Johnny Juzang, he's impressed me a lot during this entire tournament. He's UCLA's best player. Between him and Javi Jaquez, they just go back and forth. He can do it all. He can score at all three levels. You know, the mid range from three, getting to the basket. He's 6'7". He can get a shot up. He can create his own shot. He's a very skilled player. He can defend, Mailee. He's really improved his draft stock a lot. Like before, he wasn't even on the draft radars. But ever since they've had this long tournament run, he's a fringe first round pick. I still think he should come back to UCLA for another year because he's only a sophomore this year. Of course, we all know he spent his freshman year at Kentucky. He didn't really fit in. Kentucky didn't use him right, Mailee. They just use him as a spot up shooter, but he could do so much more than spot up shooting. He got a little homesick, wanted to go play for his hometown UCLA team.
You get homesick. NBA is not for you.
Well, he's still young, Mailee. Maybe it was his first time leaving home. But
the national team's not for him either if you get homesick.
But he's balled out this year. He's the single reason why UCLA was even in this game against Gonzaga, Mailee, because everybody else, Jaime Jaquez had a nice game, but Ju Zhang just made clutch shot after clutch shot every time. It was going back and forth, in the second half, but then Gonzaga, stretched the lead out to about 5 to 7 points. And every time you think, okay, Gonzaga is going to pull this out, no. Johnny Ju Zhang made a huge three, made a huge pull up, and this was not just lucky shots. This was like nothing but net, like swish. Like it was just confidence. You can just see his confidence as the games grow, Mailee. He's still a young player. He's only 19 years old as a sophomore. And to be doing it at this stage, Mailee, with the big time program at UCLA.
Well,
oh man.
The biggest stage is NBA or Olympics.
No, but I mean on the collegiate level, the Final Four.
The amateur level.
Oh, but the collegiate level, when everybody, okay, ladies and gentlemen, when people are watching you in the Final Four, the eyes of the world are on you. He performs, Mailee, and David is saying, I don't blame him. I'm from the South, and I'm even like Kentucky. No thanks. So David, thank you for that comment. But yeah, we'll see, Mailee. He's going to have his options for him. He has a decision to make. Does he go professional or does he try to make it to the NBA? Because
Shivam, do I go professional or do I stay at this amateur stuff?
I think he should go professional because his stock is never going to be higher. Kenny Smith was even saying of TNT, oh yeah, Johnny Ju Zhang's a first round pick. Like he's a first round pick. Like he may have even been playing himself up to the mid lottery section, the 10 to 15 set. He may even.
Exactly.
I'm going to admit this, ladies and gentlemen. Mailee's going to like this. He's even playing. He's going to be a higher pick than Greg Brown if he comes out. Yes, I'm saying it. He's going to be.
Well, Greg Brown should stay in college.
Well, he hasn't made his decision yet, Mailee. We'll see what he
transfer first and then say amateur. That's just what I think. But I know how you feel about Shaka Smart. I know how you feel.
He's gone, so I don't have any feelings about him anymore, Mailee. He's gone.
You're deep down still angry at how he treated your boy, but that's just what it is.
He didn't use him right. What can I say? He didn't even play him in the tournament when you recruited him to come to the University of Texas.
And we talked put on his team. I wouldn't play him.
He only plays 10 minutes in the tournament, Mailee? Come on. Come on, what's going on? What's
He didn't
going
do
on?
nothing anyway, so might as well not dress out.
He made a three, but he would have done
Yes.
He would have made many more threes.
ACU, yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, this is not about a Greg Brown. This is about Johnny Juzang again. What a tournament he's had, Mailee. He did all he can. You know, he even made the game time bucket before Jalen Suggs, you know, made the big, you know, 3-point basket to win the game. But
that's just winning it. That's just guts. That's 0-0. Like I said, Johnny Juzang, I would have a little bit more excitement if he was, you know, even considering the Vietnam national team, which from what I'm hearing, he is not. So
he might. He might. He still has 2 years left of, you know, college eligibility. We'll see.
Amateur eligibility.
Well, I guess Christian, you know, he's following Christian's path, Mailee. He spent 4 years, you know, at Harvard, you know, and Johnny is at UCLA, a big time program. He was the latest gentleman. He was like a top 30 recruit coming out of high school, you know, so you knew the talent. Kentucky sadly used him the wrong way. You know, he made a mistake out of high school. He should have just went straight to UCLA, Mailee, instead of going all the way cross country to Kentucky, then having to transfer.
And if he's homesick, maybe basketball just isn't for him.
No.
The national team.
Vietnam's
too far. Vietnam's too far. It's too far.
Ladies and gentlemen, he was UCLA's best player in this tournament. You know, UCLA would have no chance. You know, he was just every time you could tell how his teammates thought of him. Every time they needed a big bucket, Mailee, who would they give it to? Okay, let's run a play for Johnny Juzang because they trust him. He knows he's going to make a big shot. And remember, everyone, to like, share, and subscribe to the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. Me and Mailee could talk about Johnny Juzang in Vietnam all day long, as you can see. Let's talk about the championship game, Mailee, the preview. The two best teams on the men's side, number 1 and 2 all year, are going to be facing up to play. It's going to be David versus Goliath, Mailee, for the national championship game. So tell me, what are you looking for specifically tonight in this matchup? What's going to determine who's going to win tonight, Mailee? What are your keys to the game?
Well, I think for one, it's I'm not going to say amateur. It's NCAA March Madness, or I should say March's April Madness, whatever you want to call it, since we're in April now. But I don't know. I feel Gonzaga always had a track record of choking at the NCAA tournament, doing well their whole season. I mean, unstoppable. And then right when they get to Elite Eight, Final Four, the championship, it's just not there. Maybe this year is different.
It is.
I could definitely see maybe Gonzaga winning. Baylor, I don't know. I know a little bit more about their women's team, but I don't know. I saw one player on the Baylor team and how he does a little dance before he shoots it. I don't know how that's gonna work, and maybe that works in NCAA in college basketball, but NBA basketball that's not gonna work. But we're not talking about NBA; we're talking about college. I don't know. I'm real anxious to see. I can see Gonzaga choking, but I could also see them just being sick and tired of, making it this far and not coming home with the trophy. So it's gonna be exciting to see.
Who is your pick tonight, Mailee? If you had to pick a team for tonight, who's it going to be?
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. Part of me wants to say Gonzaga. Part of me wants to say...
You have to pick one.
I don't know. I'm just going to stay right in the middle.
Come on, Mailee.
Shivam, who's your pick? Let me hear your pick, and then let me hear your reason.
No, I don't want you to be influenced, So
since when have I been influenced?
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
What do you have to say?
Okay, maybe I'll ask Mailee at the end of the segment, give her some time to think, while I give my analysis. I think that's a little unfair, Mailee, with all due respect, to say that Gonzaga chokes, because first of all, this is only their second Final Four in their program history. First of all. Then second of all, because they've never been a big-time program. But second of all, Mailee, the first Final Four, they made it to the national championship, but they played against North Carolina, a blue blood, who was much better than them. Okay, so that's not choking.
They lost.
But it's no shame into losing to a team that's better than you. So
when it's Final Four, semifinals, and everything's on the line, it's win or go home. There's just no excuses. It's either you got your heart in it or your heart is somewhere else. So that's what
North
I
Carolina, that team was stacked. Like they had all NBA players. Gonzaga had DeMontis Sabonis at the time, who's now an NBA player, but at the time we didn't know he was going to be an NBA player. But he developed. But I think this year Gonzaga is the best team in the country. They're not going to choke. They showed me everything that they needed to show me in the last game because
How
my
about in Gonzaga?
so, Miley, before the last game, they've only had one game this year where they've not won by more than double-digit points, and that was against West Virginia. So, last game when they played against a tough team, it showed me their mental toughness, their togetherness that they fought. UCLA was throwing haymakers at them, but Gonzaga came fought and they ended up stealing the victory. I think they're going to be in a much better matchup, this game because UCLA like to slow the game down, not let Gonzaga run. But Baylor, this is going to be a track meet, up and down kind of game, a lot of transition, a lot of quick shots. That goes into Gonzaga's hand, ladies and gentlemen. And Gonzaga is deep. Jalen Suggs, who's their point guard, as a freshman, I should say, the highest rated recruit to ever go to Gonzaga, ladies and gentlemen. He was a top 5 recruit, but he was also a great football player. He got offers from Ohio State and Georgia. He was an all-conference football player and an all-conference basketball player, and he chose basketball. He's going to be a top 5 pick in the draft. Book it after Cade Cunningham, Mobley, Kuminga, and Jalen Green. Those are the 4 players that are better than – no, 5. Or 5 or 6, whatever. You can do the math, Miley. Same thing.
You can't go. You can't. And all of what I believe, and I heard this from the jump earlier today. When a NBA scout is recruiting somebody, especially a top GM, NBA scout, coaching staff, they look at players that have played professional first. And that's why you see a lot of European players coming to the NBA because they have that professional experience. I think Cade Cunningham, I think Jalen Suggs, yes, they're really good, talented players, but they played and they've done so well against amateurs. Their biggest concern is going to be, okay, how are you going to adjust to the NBA, And, I think since Adam Silver, am I saying that right? Yeah. Adam Silver. I think since he started this Ignite program, it's really putting college kids on notice. You have to bring it now because it's what I see and understand about the business side of it is the Ignite players. They're gonna get their chance before those college players, just because of who they played with, who they played under, and who they're playing against.
But
and not to mention $500,000 check in their checking account.
I agree to that to an extent, Miley. It's not like, Kuminga or Jalen Green played against NBA players. They still played against G League players who are a step below the NBA.
Who got paid?
They get paid, but Cade Cunningham is going to dispel that. He's the number 1 pick. It's already a done deal. Cade Cunningham is going to be the number 1 pick. Evan Mobley of USC is going to be the number 2 pick because he absolutely dominated March Madness. Then after that, then the Jalen Green and the Jonathan Kumingas are going to go. Then Jalen Suggs is going to go 5. But let me just get back to the Gonzaga. I think they have a deep team. Jalen Suggs, Corey Kispert, who is their shooter. He's going to be a lottery pick, ladies and gentlemen, for Gonzaga. The inside, the stash, Drew Timme. He does that every time he scores a bucket, the mustache. The stash man, who's from Texas, so represent, ladies and gentlemen. And they have a lot of great depth. Andrew Nembhard, Miley, who's their transfer from Florida. He's another point guard on the floor. Gonzaga plays excellent defense. The key to Baylor, you have to score 80 points. If you don't score 80 points against Gonzaga, Miley, your chances of winning are 0. Okay, but can you hold Gonzaga to under 80 points? That's going to be the key for Baylor. But I know we got to move on, ladies and gentlemen. So my pick is going to be the Gonzaga Bulldogs, 75-65. I think Gonzaga is going to finish the perfect season, Miley, undefeated, and hoist the championship.
I don't know. I can see Gonzaga.
No, Miley, who's your pick?
I can see them winning. I can also see them losing.
Miley, who's your pick?
And this is why I don't, even in March Madness, I never do a bracket. I really didn't understand what a bracket was until I got like my senior year in high school. And I just say that because, we've seen this March Madness. on the women's and men's side. It has been crazy.
Oh, understatement.
So crazy. You've had upsets. You had some really bad upsets. And then you had your traditional, the number one just, smacks him by 60 points. And, Bob's your uncle, and that's what it
No,
is.
Gonzaga all year.
So, that's why I've never chosen a team, because I said anything can happen. There could be a bench player that's got no minutes the entire season at Baylor, and he just comes in and drops 40, and then it really messes up the scouting, report and plan that Gonzaga had, because they're like, wait, we got to worry about 5 other players, and I didn't know he was going to come in and score 50, So that's why I'm always like, I don't know. Even if Baylor was number 6 and Gonzaga was number 1, or vice versa, I would say I don't know. I'm always cheering for the underdog, because that's what I am. I'm an underdog who overcame just about everything in the book. I could
definitely you're for Baylor then,
or write a book about it, but that's just where my mind is. I don't know.
I think Mailee said in an indirect way, ladies and gentlemen, she's cheering for Baylor, because it told me everything about the underdog. Because Baylor, they're even you can make it. A case that Gonzaga could be the underdog, because first of all, they never won a championship in the program history. This is their only second Final Four. So in a way, even though they're undefeated,
they've gotten that far before. They go to March Madness almost every year and choke.
No, well, they never had the team they had.
And Baylor, we don't even know their men's program. I'm like, wait, since when did y'all get here?
Well, Baylor, Gonzaga's never had the team that they've had, this game. So I think that, Gonzaga has a great chance of, making it really far. And I think we'll see what happens, Mailee. It should be a good game. These are the top 2 teams, and we have good discussion. That is my grandma. Thank you, Grandma, very much for tuning into the show. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it very much for watching. She's in Lubbock, Texas, represents the Go Tech. Texas Tech, and thank you so much.
Go Tech, and you're a UT fan? Uh-oh.
Well, I went to Tech for 2 years.
He's not okay today. He's not feeling okay.
I went to Tech for 2 years, ladies and gentlemen, before I transferred to UT. So I kind of, but we can get to that in another day. But ladies and gentlemen, let's move on. Me and Mailee went on and on about that. Let's talk about the player of the year. And no surprise on the women's side, Mailee, Paige Beckers. She averaged...
Shivam, I'm sorry to cut you off, but you chose Paige Beckers. I chose Kiana Williams. I remember that. But
I actually chose Rain Howard, Mailee. You chose.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, Rain Howard. But we both chose her to be the freshman of the year, right?
Yeah, freshman of the year. This is player of the year. Player of the year.
Well, no. Oh, player of the year. Okay, yeah. Sorry. No, but I chose Kiana Williams for player of the year.
Yeah, and I chose Rain Howard, so we were both off on this one, ladies. We both said that Paige Beckers was going to be an awesome player, and she was. Averaged 20 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game. Was ahead of the snake, as a freshman at UConn, did everything for them, score, played defense, was a great leader, Mailee, and what a year for Paige Beckers. And, she's going to have many opportunities to win a championship for the UConn Huskies.
Oh, of course. Yes. Definitely congratulations to her. But one thing I will say, when you win an award during March Madness, during winner go home, you definitely have to keep your composure. And I know she received the award the day before they played Arizona. I was like,
yeah.
You have to reel it in and make sure you refocus. But definitely congratulations to Paige Beckers. I can't wait to see what her future holds.
Oh, she has such a bright future. She could declare right now if she wanted to go to the WNBA, but unfortunately you have to go 3 years. But me and Mailee can have the discussion for another day. Let's quickly talk about, because we only have about a few more minutes left in the show. We still have to get to the inspiring stories section. Luka Garza, who was right about this? Woo! Luka Garza, player of the year. I said it all along from our first episode, ladies and gentlemen. Averaged 27 points per game. He was just a monster, ladies and gentlemen, all year. Dominant inside, shooting 44% from 3. Mailee, what a dominant player. Iowa had the best season that they've ever had in their program history. Unfortunately, they didn't, go far enough in March, but That's not to take away anything that Luka Garza did, and he puts himself in a great position for the NBA draft. So congratulations to Luka Garza. Will at least Miley recognize Luka Garza, or is she going to continue to critique him?
Well, no, I was agreeing until I agree with everything you said until you said he puts himself in a great position for the NBA draft. He should have declared after his junior year, and guess what? Not only did he declare, he had to play for free, unless some other stuff going on
Under the table.
I don't know about. But he had to play for free, and then he lost against Oregon, an upset.
Oregon made the Elite Eight, ladies and gentlemen. So that was not, I guess.
They were ranked under.
They were.
They were, and still lost. And you guys, he still cried after the game. You should be crying. You should have declared after your junior year, and you didn't get a chance to win a national championship.
Well,
but I agreed with Shivam on everything. Congratulations to Luka Garza winning.
Wow, thank you.
I know, big day for me, huh? And he won Player of the Year as a senior.
As a senior, yeah, as a senior.
As a senior. I don't know how he'll do in the NBA, but we'll see.
We'll see him in that NBA uniform, first round pick, ladies and gentlemen. Pick and pop. We'll see. But again, congratulations to Paige Beckers and to Luka Garza. Let's move on, Miley, to our inspiring stories of women in sports section. Let's play the intro for that section. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about, for the inspiring stories of women in sports, Arizona coach Ada Barnes, who, what an incredible run that they had. Nobody saw this coming, Miley, making it all the way, to the championship game as a runner-up. What an incredible run, the way that she galvanized her troops, was the leader on the court, off the court for the ladies, and what an amazing journey. And congratulations to Ada Barnes and the Arizona Wildcats women's program.
Oh, yes. And definitely a hero. And really, she goes to show you what not only African-American women can do, but women in general. She came out at halftime late because she was breastfeeding or pumping breast milk for her kids. I think that is truly amazing.
It is.
To come out and coach and make sure that she can attempt to come home with the ring. Sadly, she didn't, but she's definitely made some history along the way. One of her and Dawn Stanley were the first ever African American women to coach against each other in the Final Four. So there's definitely history being made. I definitely say she's inspiring to all of us. Even the moms out there, definitely something that women can definitely do it all. Don't underestimate us now.
No.
Don't. That's not going to be good. But congratulations to her run. That was definitely something special to watch. She definitely made March Madness. In my eyes, she definitely made March Madness so entertaining to watch, even over the men's side. Except for that ACU and UT game, that was a little bit special to me. But that's just because I know Shivam. That's the only reason why I was in it. She really,
of course, ladies and gentlemen, she had to watch that. Miley usually is always in the gym training, and of course, I get a text, and I'm like, "Oh God, Miley's watching this game."
I had to FaceTime him. He said, "Not now," and hung up. And so anyway, congratulations to Arizona Wildcats. The run you did was definitely entertaining, and I'm definitely rooting for you in the future.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was rooting for Arizona to take it home, but I'm happy for Stanford that they did. And Ada Barnes is such a great story, ladies and gentlemen. She was a coach, an assistant coach for Washington Huskies for about 5 years, and then she became the head coach for the Arizona Wildcats. I believe it's her alum. She graduated from Arizona, and her husband is on the staff there, which is even more amazing. And the first year, Miley, when she took over in 2017, they were 6-24, the Arizona Wildcats. Like, they were at the bottom of the Pac-12, and now look where they are. They're reaching new heights, making it runner-up in the championship game, and they're definitely have such a bright future and a team to definitely watch out for in the Pac-12.
Yeah. So definitely really exciting to the Arizona coach Wildcats.
Yeah.
Ari McDonald, having her under her is, you know, really good, and just really excited to see what she does in the future.
Yep, definitely a bright future for everybody, Miley, especially for the Arizona Wildcats and Ada Barnes. So thank you, everybody, so much for tuning into this episode of Courtside with Shivam and Miley. We're going to be back in 2 weeks, and we're going to be announcing something special, Miley.
You have to stay tuned and follow my Facebook channel at Mailee Jones, or on Instagram, Mailee Jones, Mailee. Don't spell my name wrong now, okay? So you'll have to watch out for that on my social media page to see what's coming up, but it will be on our next episode.
Yeah, so we're going to be having a special giveaway, Miley. And what are some of the things that the audience has to do to be involved, to be able to be in participation for that giveaway?
First things first, you have to be a subscriber to the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. That is the only way you can be a participant. If you're not a subscriber to the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel, you are automatically disqualified.
Oh,
sorry, but make sure you're a subscriber. Thank you guys for tuning in so much. You'll have to follow my social media page, and of course tune into the next episode to see who the winner is. So I'm not going to give too much away because y'all should have been paying attention.
Yes, exactly. We cannot wait, Miley. Again, a great episode. Hope for a great men's championship tonight. And remember to watch all the episodes live and on demand on the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. Mailee Jones. Don't spell her name wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Like she said. And Shooting for Success Facebook channel. Shout out to Coach DJ and Shooting for Success again, for the amazing stuff they continue to do. And I know Miley's got to run. She's got to go to her training. What a busy schedule.
I don't want the chocolate man to be upset with me.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. And until then, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Everybody enjoy the game and go Gonzaga. Luka Garza, Player of the Year!